ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Gateway. Let's talk about your Gateway. And by Kelly Tires, a good deal on a great tire. Twilight time in the city. John Miller and Joe Morgan back with you. Sunday Night Baseball, the Subway Series, the Yankees and Mets. And here to throw out the first pitch is Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Billy, it's your pitch.
Yeah. So the baseball fans are out, including the celebrity fans. And now the Mets are going to take the field. And part of the excitement of this weekend series is that Shea Stadium, the longtime home of the Mets, is not filled just with Mets fans. And there are many Yankee fans here as well. And we'll be hearing them throughout the evening as well. Unfortunately, Joe, for the Mets, they've been hearing all too much of the Yankee fans in these first two games of the three-game series. Joe Torre, his Yankees continuing to do what they've done all year long, methodically mowing down the opposition. They come in at 55-19. Here is the Pepsi Yankees batting order. Chuck Knobloch at second base. Derek Jeter at shortstop. Paul O'Neill, Friday's hero, in right field. Darryl Strawberry, the longtime Mets superstar, in left field hitting cleanup. Tino Martinez, yesterday's hero, a three-run homer. He's at first base, only his second homer yesterday since being hit by Benitez that precipitated the brawl with the Orioles. Jorge Posada, the catcher. Chad Curtis in center in place of the injured Bernie Williams. Scott Brocious at third. And on the mound, Orlando El Duque Hernandez. And for the Mets, Masato Yoshii, who is from Japan. He started off beautifully, but he has struggled lately.
Well, he throws basically a cut fastball. He throws a splitter. He also throws a changeup. And the last time we saw him, he was a little erratic. He needs his pinpoint control to dominate these Yankee hitters. And behind him defensively, they have a pretty good defense, especially the inner defense. Ordonez at shortstop, won his first Gold Glove last year. Edgardo Alfonso at third, good player.
Ordonez, who made an incredible play yesterday that very nearly was turned into a triple play. And actually, that was Friday. Yesterday, actually made a bad decision.
Right.
It contributed to a big Yankee inning. Here is Chuck Knobloch. And we are ready to go. Yoshii. Ball one. Yoshii now joined by his one-time Japanese teammate Hideo Nomo in this club. The two of them are the closest of friends. That is a strike.
Well, the one thing that both of these pitchers have in common is they're not an overpowering type pitcher. They both have to throw strikes. There's a Rabu, but they all have to throw strikes, stay ahead in the counts. They cannot afford to throw a lot of 2-0 fastballs to these hitters.
Knobloch with a pop-up. John Olerud has room. 1-1. The umpiring alignment behind the plate, the veteran Frank Pulling, Bruce Dreckman at first base, Greg Gibson at second base, filling in for Ed Rapuano, and we send all of our best wishes and also condolences from the umpiring crew in this game to Ed Rapuano and his family on the passing of his grandmother, Eleanor Millard. So Greg Gibson filling in with also Charlie Williams working at third base. Now Derek Jeter, and he takes ball one.
John, one of the problems Knobloch, who led off for the Yankees, has had is he's getting too many balls in the air. And that was another example of this first inning where he pops up to first base.
Jeter chased that high, hard one. He had a little juice behind that one. 90 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think he surprised Jeter with the speed with which he threw that one.
When a pitcher throws the ball up in the strike zone or up and out of the strike zone, that will be the hardest that he can throw, because his release point is almost perfect for that high fastball.
That's a foul. That Might have been the split finger pitch, which he'll occasionally throw, as Piazza called it before the game, a little splitter. Well, we mentioned that he has struggled, and ironically, in his last 5 starts, he wins 2 losses and a 7.29 ERA. He has not really pitched well since they acquired Hideo Nomo. Hey, struck him out.
Pretty good example there of the control. Jeter helped him out on the first pitch going out of the strike zone. He threw him a splitter for a foul, and then he makes a perfect pitch right over the outside part of the plate. And he gets Jeter. There's a fastball right on the outside part of the plate. Jeter a little late on it. Perfect pitch anyway.
So Jeter is gone. He says he's still not back where he was before the injury. Been struggling finding that rhythm and that groove that he had been in. Paul O'Neill, 329, 5th in the American League in hitting. And Joe, they always used to say that big stars who did not play in New York sometimes didn't get enough credit. And here's Paul O'Neill playing in New York. That's where he put his game together. Did you see the shift in the infield for him? And if anything, maybe O'Neill doesn't get enough credit in New York. He's been steady. There's that splitter. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that is true, Paul. Normally, you get overrated in New York, if anything, but Paul O'Neill, you're right, has not been given a lot of national recognition, although he's hit over 500 3 straight years. 5 straight years being with the Mets, he's hit over 300.
And that is on the inside corner.
The Yankees, I should say.
1 ball and 2 strikes to O'Neill.
And the most he'd ever hit before was 276 with the Reds. He had a 259 lifetime average. And he came to the Yankees and he's hit over 300 each year.
1-2 the count. Ordonez has moved back over behind second instead of on the right side. Chase that high one, lofting it foul and back out of play. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, the reason you move back now is because he's behind in the count. He's going to wait a little longer and he may hit a ball to the left of second base, whereas when he goes up there without any strikes, they figure he's going to pull the ball. Plus the fact that Yoshii is going to throw a lot of off-speed pitches, which means he's going to pull the ball.
O'Neill's back foot really is out of the batter's box. So deep is he against Yoshii. He struck him out. Jeter and O'Neill both down on strikes. The Yankees retired in order. Now Orlando Hernandez, El Duque, takes the mound to face the Mets. Twilight time in the big city. Yankees nothing. Mets coming up on Sunday Night Baseball. We're in Flushing Meadows, Shea Stadium. And here is the Pepsi Mets batting order. Edgardo Alfonso at third base leading off. Bernard Gilkey in left field. Mike Piazza is the catcher. He has hit well since coming here, but not driving in runs. Only 10 RBIs in 28 games. Olerud, who's slumping at first base. Carlos Baerga, back to his glory days when he was with Cleveland lately. He's at second. Bochowski in right. Brian McRae in center. Ray Ordonez the shortstop, and Masato Yoshii hits ninth. And on the mound, the Cuban refugee came to this country in a 17-foot boat from Cuba. Orlando El Duque Hernandez, the older half-brother of last year's postseason hero from the Florida Marlins, Livan Hernandez.
Well, Hernandez throws a curveball, changeups, and a fastball. His curveball has been his most effective pitch, and his changeup, his off-speed pitches have been the best of the lot.
Alfonso leads it off against him. 267 batting average. And there's ball 1. And I asked Bobby Valentine about the lack of RBIs from Piazza, and he said, well, it's not so much that he's not protected in the order as there's been nobody to drive in. The people at the top have not been getting on base.
Well, he really hasn't hit well either with runners in scoring position. He's hit less than 200 with runners in scoring position. So he's hitting real well with no one on base.
2-0 the count. And that went back to the screen. Well, Joe, he's coming back from his only loss of the year. And now in his young big league career, pitching a real big game in this Subway Series. But he's not your ordinary rookie.
No, and if anyone's worried about him pitching in big games, he pitched when he was in Cuba. He pitched for Industriale, and they played Metro, which is a team that Ordonez played for, and he said it was just like this crosstown rivalry. You could not get a seat to the ballpark, and he just loves pitching in those games. And he told Jose Cardinal before tonight's game he just couldn't wait to get out there on the mound. He said this reminds him so much of being back home in Cuba.
3-2 the count to Alfonso. I mean, getting from his team Industriale and to Shea Stadium, now that's quite a story. It's a walk for Alfonso.
Take a look at the defense behind Orlando Hernandez. And our highlight tonight goes to Chuck Knobloch. He has not played as well lately as you would expect. He won his first Gold Glove last year, but he has been making quite a few errors, and a lot of them on the throws. He's been a little erratic throwing so far this season. He has 9 errors for the season, which is a lot for a second baseman.
Now Bernard Gilkey. Knobloch double play depth, shaded toward the middle. There's the curveball, but it is too low. 1 ball, no strikes. The day after Christmas, Orlando Hernandez, his wife, and 5 others boarded a 17-foot boat, and they traversed that treacherous stretch of water, that shark-infested water, and for 3 days until they finally landed on a tiny island. They were then handed over to the authorities of the Bahamas and placed in a detention center there with the other refugees. So just surviving that trip is not easily done, and really all they subsisted on, they had some water with them, and that's it for 3 days basically. And he continues to struggle with his control.
He's a little erratic here, and I guess he's just not able to find the strike zone. I found it interesting that Frank Pulley walked out and told him 1 more pitch. He was not actually finished with his warm-up. He wanted to throw some more, and Frank Pulley, the home plate umpire, said you have 1 more pitch, and that was it. And he was not happy with that because he had not felt like he was completely loose before he had to go to the first hitter.
2-0 the count. Alfonso at first base. Only 3 steals for the year. Is on deck.
Well, he does have a good fastball, but he lives by the off-speed pitches. That was a good fastball, but it was up and out of the strike zone. Neither of these pitchers will be able to throw 2-0 fastballs for strikes and survive. So, although it looks like he has a little better fastball than Yoshii.
Alfonso away from first. Tino Martinez on the bag with it. He is ruled to have swung at it. Frank Pulley, and it is 2-2.
Well, that's what he's capable of doing, able to throw breaking balls, off-speed pitches on any count. We'll take a look. You can see the pitches off the plate, but Gilkey went too far.
That time Gilkey laid off that slider.
Well, he drops down, he throws from different angles, and I think that also helps to confuse some of the hitters. Dropped down 2 times in a row there to throw the sidearm breaking ball to Bernard Gilkey.
He pitched real well in his first 3 outings, but then Tuesday against the Braves at Yankee Stadium, he got knocked around. 6 runs total, 3 earned. There goes Alfonso. The fastball is driven foul down the right field line. It's 3-2, and Alfonso will have to return. More than 53,000. Will be here again tonight. This entire series was sold out weeks in advance. They've had more than 53 for each of the first 2 games, and will finish up close to 160,000 for the 3 nights, for the 3 days and nights. Alfonso is back to the bag at first. He led off with a walk. Gilkey trying to get his game going again. He was hot there for a while, but has fallen back into a slump. Alfonso runs, and it is ball 4. And so Piazza comes up with 2 men on and a chance to make a very early impact.
Well, we talked about Piazza not so far producing the power numbers that the Mets expected. In the 28 games he's played for the Mets, he's batting .351, which is a good average, but the breakdown is that he's hit .446 with the bases empty and only .217 with runners on base and .200 even with runners in scoring position. He's 5 for 25 with runners in scoring position.
And that, of course, is not the way it went for him with the Dodgers last year. Piazza drove in 124 runs last year with 40 homers and an amazing .362 batting average.
We'll see how he starts him off. I think this will tell you exactly how he wants to pitch to Piazza.
Fastball to the outside corner.
And that was a pretty good pitch. He starts him away. Now it opens up other areas for him. He can either go inside or he can throw him some off, breaking ball. But again, Piazza's a good breaking ball hitter when it's a strike.
Catcher Masato, the shortstop Jeter, both out of the mound, talking with Orlando Hernandez. I had a chance to visit with him briefly before the game. Very effervescent, very likable, and apologizing for his inability to speak a whole lot of English. And I kidded around with him, the little Spanish I spoke. And then he went into the explanation, Joe. I just arrived here 3 months ago, so my English is not that good yet.
Basically what he told me.
I forgave him, yeah. 0-1 the count to Piazza. 2 men on, nobody out. Check swing and breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
His breaking ball he's thrown so far, when he drops down, is more of a sweeping breaking ball. Not really going to break down and cause much problems for the hitter if he hangs one in the middle of the plate. The sweeping breaking ball stays pretty much on the same plane, but it just moves away.
And the fastball, Piazza fouling it back to the screen.
Well, we have not seen his changeup, which is supposed to be one of his best pitches. This may be a perfect spot to throw it after a fastball, to throw him that changeup that he's developed.
Alfonso at second. He walked. Yoshii at first, and he walked. Nobody out. 1 and 2 to Piazza. John Olerud is on deck. Check this swing. Well, it's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that many check swings in the first 3 hitters of a game before.
Well, the sweeping slide breaking ball starts in the strike zone, so you go after it, but it's slow enough that they have time to lay off, stop their swing, and that is a telltale sign that they're able to check their swing on that sweeping breaking ball, because it's a little slower than maybe he needs to throw it.
2-2 the count. And he dropped down with a fastball in under the hands that time. 2-2. Beautiful red sky at night. Sailor's delight, Joe. Red sky at morning, though. Sailor take 1. Just a bit of advice. It's been a beautiful day in New York. They had the heat wave that went through here. Incredible temperatures on Friday. Very muggy with some rain in the area yesterday, but just sensational today. 3-2.
See, that breaking ball is slow enough that the hitter can start and then stop. That's why you're not getting hitters to chase this breaking ball out of the strike zone. If it was a little harder, they would have to commit a little sooner, and they may chase some, but it's slow enough that they have time to check themselves.
Now, he has thrown fastball, breaking ball throughout this at bat. But they say he will throw that breaking ball at any time on the count. Right now, the Mets have not been swinging at that breaking ball, though.
Well, he's thrown this, 19 pitches in this first inning.
He's been to a 3-ball, 2-strike count on each of the first 3 hitters. Both Alfonso and Yoshii drew walks. A bluff toward at second with Knobloch breaking in behind the base runner there.
But if you're the hitter, you have to, in my opinion, look for a fastball changeup here. I don't think you should look for the breaking ball. He's missed with all the breaking balls. And it also seems that you have time to check your swing on it, so it should be fastball or a changeup. And if you're Joe Torre, you're probably hoping that he throws a fastball in.
Runners go. He struck him out, and that is going to be a double play. He got the fastball. He didn't hit it, and Alfonso was out by plenty at third.
Well, that's what they say. A double play can help a guy out of an inning. That's why it's the pitcher's best friend. Strike him out, throw him out. I mean, you've got the guy in trouble, and you strike him out, and you get a throw out. But you have, I think if you're Piazza, you have to be looking fastball here. He gets the fastball. He's late on it, so he wasn't looking for a fastball. And as you can see, Alfonso is not even close at third base. Masato takes his time. Brocious has plenty of time to wait. And now he may be almost out of the jam.
John Olerud, the hitter. Gilkey moved over to second of the play. 2 down suddenly. There's that big, slow curveball.
So that's the first time he's thrown it over the top. The other ones were to right-handed hitters, so he was dropping down. He comes over the top with that curveball, and I think that one will be more effective because of the arm speed. He gets a chance to fool the hitter.
One ball, one strike. Yanks nothing. Mets batting here in the first inning. They had a great opportunity, and that's been one of the problems for them in this series. They have not been able to take full advantage of the opportunities presented to them. 2-1. Olerud, after a sensational start to his season, has slowed down considerably of late. His average is at .320. About the same time last year, he went into an early season or a mid-season slump. On the outside corner for a called strike. The very first game here on Friday, Irabu got the bases loaded, but got a double play from Olerud, and that was the only run they scored in that opportunity. There goes Gilkey. That's a foul off to the left.
I don't quite understand that move right there by Gilkey. The reason I say it because you have 2 strikes on the hitter, and sometimes a runner breaking from behind the pitcher will distract the hitter. So I'm not sure why he was running. There are already 2 outs, and it's going to take a base hit to score him if he's on the move anyway. But sometimes that distracts the hitter, and I was thinking it might have distracted Piazza when they broke on him.
Gilkey hangs on now. 3-2. There's kind of a wide variety of breaking balls we've seen already.
Well, the only one I like is the one he's throwing to the left-handed hitter. That one, it breaks down out of the zone, or he throws it for a strike. That sidearm breaking ball to me doesn't look like it's going to be very effective because it's too slow.
Another 3-2 count, the 4th consecutive Mets batter to work a 3-2 count here against Hernandez. Shea Stadium. It opened the year of the New York World's Fair, 1964, which was staged not far from here. And by the way, as you can hear, it's also very near LaGuardia. 3-2. And another walk. He has walked 3 of the 4 hitters he's faced.
Batting fifth, number 8, second baseman Carlos.
There has not yet been a ball put in play by the Mets. 3 walks and a strikeout. And Hernandez was very fortunate that the strikeout turned into 2 outs with the runners going.
Well, the one thing that Joe Torre told me about him, he says, you know, he knows what he's doing. He has a presence out there, and I'm sure he was pitching very carefully to Olerud. But Baerga has been swinging the bat very well lately, so it may not be a picnic just to get to Baerga. He's trying to work his way out of this jam completely without giving up any runs.
And he's swinging from his strong side. That's a fastball to the inside corner. Baerga gets right up on top of the plate. He's hitting .302, batting left-handed, only .196 from the other side.
Plus he handles off-speed pitches pretty well.
2 on, 2 out. Slow chop up the first base side, and Hernandez will take it himself. 3 walks for the Mets, but no runs. Darryl Strawberry will lead it off for the Yankees when we come back. No score. Hands in against Yoshii. High in the air. Shallow left center. Guilty. And Strawberry is gone just like that. Between innings in the dugout, El Duque went in and chatted with Jorge Posada, his catcher, who also speaks Spanish. Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, also there.
Well, it seemed interesting because it seemed like Hernandez was basically saying, you have to do what I want to do, the way I want to pitch. I have to throw the way I want to.
Here is Tino Martinez, and there is ball 1. So perhaps a little disagreement in philosophy there.
Yeah, I think the reason is that, you know, Posada is used to pitching a certain way at certain counts, and Hernandez basically doesn't adhere to that theory of pitching. You know, he has his own theories on pitching. And I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of foreign pitchers are successful, is because they're not used to pitching to a certain pattern. See, I think what he's talking about there is that he didn't get enough pitches to throw. He's talking about I didn't get a chance to throw, because I was surprised that Frank Pulley went out and told him to, you know, one more pitch. And that was, you know, to start the game, you know, you usually let a pitcher warm up until he's ready to go. But Frank Pulley went out and told him one more pitch, and he looked at Frank and he questioned him. But Frank put one more up and said, you have to, one more pitch is all you have.
Well, especially when it's the
bottom of the
visiting team.
Yeah, the bottom of the first.
It's sitting around for a while.
Yeah, and he was a little surprised. I mean, he didn't understand what Frank was saying, except he understood one more, because Frank kept putting it in his face, one more.
Tino Martinez with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And Yoshii backs him off with the fastball. The 3-1.
I talked to him today. You're right. He's just a personable guy. I mean, he's, you know, has a smile on his face, but I guess he is very happy at this point in his life. Just
everybody in the clubhouse, all his teammates love it. And there's ball 4, even though that not many of them can really communicate with him. 1-out walk, the first base runner for the Yankees. El Duque, in his native Cuba, was a great star pitcher on the national team and on the club team as well, as you mentioned, Joe. But after Livan Hernandez defected to the United States, they were so concerned that El Duque might defect that they banned him from the team. And there's ball 1 to Jorge Posada, a switch hit batting left-hander. So effectively his career was over. He had a job making $5 a month as a physical therapist in a psychiatric hospital, and that was the job he could get. And he attempted to leave Cuba 8 different times. There's a foul off the left field line, and basically he told Jorge Posada, had he not been successful and had he actually been apprehended by the authorities, he was sure that he would be killed. Finally, the 7 people in the 17-foot boat, they did get off the island and made it through the perilous journey. And there's a ball too high. Yoshii, by comparison, has made the long trip from Japan here. The difference in cultures, facing hitters he'd never seen before, but the change for him was almost serene. Even in Japan, he was able to get out following the rules of Japanese baseball. He was an actual free agent. And now he is struggling with his control. 3-1 to Posada after the walk to Martinez. Chad Curtis on deck. And he misses badly. consecutive walks, putting 2 men on with 1 man out. Coming up now, Wednesday night baseball, a doubleheader. Jim Thome and the Cleveland Indians will take on the Milwaukee Brewers in interleague play, and then the San Francisco Giants, second place in the National League West, take on the Anaheim Angels, first in the American League West at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Barry Bonds and the Giants, Tim Salmon and the Angels from Anaheim. We hope you'll tune in. Wednesday night baseball. Here's Chad Curtis now. Tony Williams still on the disabled list. Chad Curtis has filled in very effectively. Fastball for a strike.
You're watching Yoshii. He was continuing to stretch his arm between pitches. It's like something was bothering him and he couldn't get loose. And which surprised you because he missed so badly with some of the high fastballs.
Bob Apodaca, the Mets pitching coach, former Mets relief pitcher. Mets pitching has been sensational this year. Couldn't lay off that high one, and it is 0-2. 2 men on. At second base is Tino Martinez, and at first base Jorge Posada. We've had 5 walks already in this game, and we're only in the top of the second inning. Scott Brocious is on deck. And the splitter for the strikeout.
Well, both of these pitchers, as I said, need to stay ahead in the count if they're going to control these hitters. He gets ahead with 2 high fastballs up and out of the strike zone, and then he comes with the splitter, and Curtis way out in front, and he doesn't come close.
That is the 3rd strikeout already for Yoshii, and here is Scott Brocious. 2 on, 2 out. Brocious, a reclamation project of the Yankees, that has been quite a success up till now. And that is a called strike. And he had just a nightmarish year for Oakland last year, but the Yankees had a scout who was convinced that Brocious would rebound. Now you see last year this time, I mean, just nothing at all. 307 this year, and a big RBI man hitting low in the order.
The impressive thing is the 49 runs batting. They got him because they knew he could play third base, and they felt he would help them defensively, but he's really hitting better offensively. And he's made a few errors, made 10 errors, but when I talked to Chris Chambliss, he said he reminded him of Greg Nettles. He says he plays third base a lot like Greg Nettles, diving around over there, making great plays under pressure.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to him. And strike 2. Hideki Irabu, also from Japan. He pitched here Friday. And he and Mel Stottlemyre looking out at Yoshii. I think he's trying to get some information about Yoshii here.
Well, I think he was, and Irabu was trying to think of a way to say it in English, I believe. He was trying to think there for a second. Then he came up with an idea of motion of how to explain it.
6-3. Struggled his last 2 starts. Of course, we saw him get knocked around in Cleveland last Sunday on Sunday Night Baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, 2 on. And the splitter for the strikeout. Much trouble for both pitchers in the early going, but no runs. With the beginning of ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball, get this, 500 million fans have now attended Major League Baseball games during the 90s. To celebrate this, the players and owners are teaming up to host a fan from each league and their immediate family at the All-Star game. Let's go to John Franco and Chuck Knobloch for the announcement made earlier today.
The winner is Dennis Zalowski of West Allison, Wisconsin. Congratulations to you and your family. You're going to the All-Star game.
Our All-Star winner from the American League is Brandon Luptak who attended a Royals game this week. On behalf of all of us in the game, congratulations, Brandon. You and your family are going to the All-Star game.
They didn't have any Jones or Smith to announce their tough names.
And congratulations also from us at Sunday Night Baseball. And John Franco of the Mets, Chuck Knobloch of the Yankees making the announcement before the ball game. Now the game continues. Last of the second inning. Butch Husky leads off for the Mets, hitting 6th in the order against Orlando Hernandez. And there is ball 1 with the breaking ball. Very close to LaGuardia here at Shea Stadium. Fastball popped up. Tino Martinez, and Husky is gone. Now let's get an update from Bill Pito.
All right, John, MCI takes us to Los Angeles. Pirates and Dodgers, first inning for L.A. This is Gary Sheffield with a man on. He's going to crank his 13th home run of the year. Put L.A. up 2-zip. Pirates have since scored on an error by Eric Young. 2-1 Dodgers in the top of the third.
All right, Bill, thank you. And we saw Bill Crystal throw out the first pitch. There's actor Sean Penn also in attendance tonight. Baseball fans.
John, during the break in the innings, Joe Torre came out and talked to Frank Pulley about the fact that he did not give Orlando Hernandez enough time to warm up in between innings last time, and he came out and spoke to him about it, and he got a chance to throw more pitches this time, and I actually believe he will now pitch better. I don't think he was prepared to pitch when he had to start throwing there in the first inning.
Brian McRae, the hitter. 3-0 the count. He's hitting only .234. And that is ball 4. That is the 4th walk allowed by Hernandez. We also saw James Caan. I'm sure many of you recognized him. Sitting down there near Sean Penn here at the ballpark tonight. There's James Caan. Sonny Corleone to me. And when he ended up, Sonny Corleone, his character ended up being killed in the Godfather movie at the Toll Plaza where he was killed. Russ Hodges could be heard in the background broadcasting the 3rd playoff game between the Giants and Dodgers in 1951. Just a little bit before Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard around the world. See, some people remember movies for certain things, Joe. That's my #1 memory from The Godfather. And of course, that was one of the probably the most memorable moment of intercity baseball here in New York, or intra-city baseball. The Giants and the Dodgers in that famous playoff of 1951. And now, with both of those teams on the West Coast, the intra-city rivalry is on the docket again. With Middle League play, the Yankees and the Mets played last year at Yankee Stadium, a 3-game series. The Yanks won 2 out of 3, and now the 3-game series this year at Shea. And every one of the games last year and this, a complete sellout. And there goes the runner on a delay, and McRae is caught.
That was a great play by Masato. He was already aware that McRae might try a delayed steal. McRae leads the Mets in stolen bases with 14, and he tried to delay steal, and you usually delay and you catch the catcher napping, but Masato was well aware of it. And watch him jump out after the pitch. See, he's already there, and so now he's an easy out at second base. Nice play there by Posada, being alert.
2 down, nobody on, and Ordonez the hitter. That's 2 Mets now who have been wiped out on the base paths. Big play in the first inning. The strikeout into a double play of Mike Piazza, with Alfonso being caught at third. 1-2 the count. Just off the outside of that breaking ball.
He's thrown his that slider a little harder now than he was in the first inning, which is the only way, in my opinion, it can be effective.
And Ordonez, of course, is a man, as you pointed out, Joe, at the top. He has faced El Duque in Cuba. The fastball for the strikeout. That's his second. No score, and Orlando Hernandez will be coming up when we come back. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Fram Filters. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later. A fabulous sunset, a memorable sunset here in New York. Sunday Night Baseball. The Yanks and Mets, no score, third inning. Orlando Hernandez against Masato Yoshii. And it is a strike on the outside. Hernandez, then Chuck Knobloch and Derek Jeter in the third inning. 0-2 the count. Yoshii has 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings.
They've talked about Hernandez being a good athlete, and we saw a little of that when he fielded the ball in the first inning. But he looks like he swings the bat pretty well too. Maybe not hitting, but he has good bat speed. He swings the bat with some power. And he does look like a good athlete.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Changed up there, and Hernandez just got a piece of it. 1-2. That's back out of play. We got 2 pitchers, each born outside the United States. And there have been 215 games won by pitchers born outside the U.S. so far this season. And the percentage of wins by pitchers from another land is the highest in the history of Major League Baseball. The forkball, 1 hop to third. And Alfonso throws him out. El Duque is retired. He's one of the remnants of the old 1964 World's Fair, although I thought I saw that destroyed by the bug in the movie Men in Black, but apparently that was just a movie. And that's the view from the brightly illuminated blimp overhead, the Sanyo lightship, one of the newest blimps in the world. It is internally lit by 2 1,000-watt light bulbs. I'm glad to have them with us, providing shots like that. High above Shea. Now Chuck Knobloch, the hitter. 5 strikeouts or 4 strikeouts for Yoshii. Knobloch fouled out his first time. There has not been hard contact yet made by either team in this game. In fact, there's not been a hit yet, although we've had 6 base runners. That was hard, but foul. Willie Randolph ducked under it. The third base coach. Yoshii Onomo, former Dodger, now also with the Mets. Made 4 starts here with a 3.91 ERA. Bobby Valentine says he deserved to win 2 of the starts. The other 2, one he pitched very poorly, and one he was just so-so. Deserved to win in his most recent start, though. That's a foul, back out of play. 0-2 the count. It's interesting, though, as El Duque has his jacket back on in the dugout. The man they traded, or one of the men they traded to get Nomo here to the Mets, Greg McMichael, seems to be badly missed in their bullpen right now. 2-strike pitch on the way. Yoshii, number 2. Now Derek Jeter will come up. No score in the third inning. Some of the pitchers who've done so well this year from outside the U.S. Familiar names like Pedro Martinez. I mean, we've seen him do it before. Another Cuban exile, Rolando Araujo, with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, who won 10 ball games. Jeter off the fists. Could be trouble, but there is Baerga. He's got it. Jeter is 0 for 2. In order go the Yankees. Yoshii is coming up. No score. Yankees nothing, Mets nothing. Last of the 3rd inning. And it will be Yoshii, the pitcher, to lead off against Hernandez. And the leadoff man, Alfonso, will follow. Hernandez has walked 4 in the first 2 innings. 2 of them, though, were subsequently wiped off on the base paths. He's also had 2 strikeouts. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yoshii only 1 hit in 19 at bats, although the 1 hit was a double, and he has 2 RBIs. So, Joe, how about this as an assessment, just from the stats? Very poor hitter, hits well in the clutch. Struck him out. Orlando Hernandez, El Duque, with his 3rd strikeout. We asked his manager, Joe Torre, to give his assessment of El Duque.
He reminds Mel Stottlemyre a little bit of Louis Tion. And he reminds me, with his control and his command, of Marichal. Marichal, you know, could throw one under your lips, and he could throw one on the outside corner. And it could be overhand, could be 3/4, could be sidearm. And as I say, El Duque has command, and he has a sense out there that when there are men on base, he's making that hitter be on the defensive, which is something that's very unusual in today's pitching.
2-0 to Alfonso. And that's a pop fly that will go back out of play.
Well, it's interesting you could say that he gets the hitter on the defensive when the hitter should be more aggressive. That tells you a lot about the way he pitches, because that means he'll change speeds. He keeps the hitters off balance more than a lot of other pitchers do. But it's interesting a little bit in that a lot of the pitchers we've talked about that's come to pitch from foreign countries, Yoshii and now Duque and Irabu, a lot of them really aren't hard throwers. If you go to Pedro Martinez and Arroyo, they are. So a little combination of all things, and they're not.
Paul O'Neill, and that is out number 1. First ball to the outfield, hit by the Mets.
But they're all completely different in their approach to pitching.
Well, here's Juan Marichal. Mentioned it. Nobody had a leg kick as high as Juan. He'd come down from the side as well.
Yeah, but you can only compare them in style, not the way they pitch, because Marichal had a very good fastball, a great curveball, a great screwball, and a great changeup, and a slider. I mean, he had all quality pitches.
Yoshii, the hitter, just a ball outside. Didn't miss by much. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the only similarities to you are that it comes from different angles.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Because otherwise, I mean, Louis Tion to me had the good stuff like Marichal. But I guess, as he said, it's the control that Hernandez has that reminds him of Marichal. See the control, he hits the outside corner. Even when he's behind in the count, he makes a good pitch.
2-2 to Gilkey. Piazza is on deck. 2 down, nobody on. And the check swing. Again, the check swing. Over and over again, we see the check swing.
Yeah, it's just, I just don't think that pitch, unless he throws it a little harder, is going to be effective. I mean,
3-2. He struck him out with the fastball. His 4th. The power coming up. O'Neill, Strawberry, and Tino. No score. For the 4th. Tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, it's the Phoenix Mercury taking on Rebecca Lobo in the New York Liberty in WNBA action. Robin Roberts and Gino Auriemma will be courtside. Phoenix versus New York tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Paul O'Neill taking a strike from Masato Yoshii. O'Neill struck out his first time. The infield plays him to pull. No hits in the game as we go to the fourth. And there's that split-fingered pitch. 0-2. I'm saying the split-fingered pitch has that kind of action. He also throws what in Japan they call the shuto. Bobby Valentine described that as like an Oral Hershiser sinker that would break down and run in to a right-hander. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hideo Nomo, of course, has the great split-fingered pitch, which really, that's the first thing you think of when you think of Nomo. And Irabu, he throws a splitter. He throws harder though than Yoshii and Nomo. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chased it.
Well, the one thing that Paul O'Neill has been able to do throughout his career is make adjustments to what the pitcher is doing to him during the course of a ball game. And he has been off balance against Yoshii tonight because of the off-speed pitches. He's thrown the splitter, and then he's got him to chase the fastball up and out of the strike zone.
Mets fans and Yankee fans chanting simultaneously. 1-2 the count. The third. Alfonso recovers, but not in time. O'Neill is safe. Man, tough hop.
Well, he waited on it, John, and that's why it became a tough hop. Once the ball was chopped that way, he needed to take 1 step in, and he did not. And thus he got the in-between hop, and that's what makes it tough to catch. Now watch this. Well, we don't see him in the picture, but he should see. He waited on the ball. He did not come and get it. You have to come get the ball. Right here, now watch him. He waits on it. He does not even get any movement. And that has to be scored as an error because it was right toward him. He just had to take a step in.
Now Strawberry. Chased the pitch up around his shoulders that time and fouled it back out of play. A high pop that landed in amongst the spectators.
Well, Darryl Strawberry is very excited about this series. I mean, being back here in Shea Stadium, he said he felt like it was a homecoming for him. He just loves being here.
The Yanks played 1 game earlier this year in this ballpark for Strawberry, part of that Mets World Championship of 1986. One ball, 1 strike. Strawberry and the Yankees came over here to play the Angels after the structural problem occurred at Yankee Stadium. And Strawberry, just like old times, hit a home run that day. 1-1. Ooh. 1-2. And had to look pretty fat when he started his swing.
I don't think there's any doubt that Darryl would like to park one over the wall, but that off-speed pitch he was out in front of it after chasing the high fastball.
There goes O'Neill. Strike 3 call. In the dirt. Nice save there by Ordonez to keep it from going into center field. Strawberry called out. O'Neill steals a base.
Well, the Yankees will be aggressive. They will steal some bases. They will hit and run. They will try to manufacture runs. They hit some home runs, but they're not a home run hitting team, as Joe Torre describes them. Good fastball right on the outside corner, but not a good throw, and Paul O'Neill in there safely.
Mike Piazza bouncing the throw in there. Didn't have a whole lot on it to begin with. So O'Neill gets to second with 1 out, and now Tino Martinez. O'Neill, by the way, with his 9th steal, which you wouldn't think it. He doesn't look like he has that kind of speed. The Yankees do a lot of running, though. That's a strike to Tino Martinez.
The one thing I've noticed from Yoshii is that he is all of a sudden he's throwing more fastballs, because I think the scouting report on him would be that he would throw a lot of off-speed pitches, try to spot the fastball here and there. But it seems to me that he's throwing more fastballs in this ball game than the Yankees are looking for, and he has 5 strikeouts in the 3 and a third innings.
The camera crew turn on their light over there, and the umpires want them to turn it off.
Well, it seems that they're having trouble turning it off.
This is not an ESPN camera crew. Been so much interest here in the city about this series that you have a lot of news crews out who don't ordinarily come out to cover a baseball game. 0-1 to Tino Martinez. And the splitter. 0-2.
Well, he must have the same motion with his splitter that he has with his fastball, because you see these hitters way out in front of that splitter after the fastball.
O'Neill at second. Second time the Yankees have had a man in scoring position. And 2.
But see, when he gets him ahead of the hitter, he is still throwing the fastball, and I think that's something the Yankees just not quite expecting.
So he's throwing the splitter when they're expecting fastball, and he's throwing the fastball when they're expecting splitter.
Well, and so he's been getting ahead of these hitters, and now 0-2. He just threw a good fastball, which gets the hitter thinking fastball again, and he can throw a splitter now and probably get the hitter off balance.
It's the splitter. I don't know. Looked to me like he got him off balance.
Yeah, he definitely did. That pitch started. Looked like it started inside and then moved back over the inside part of the plate. It was definitely, this is a splitter that starts inside. Look at that. And it moves back toward the inside part of the plate. And you can see it appears here that he got a lot of the plate.
2 down. Tino Martinez out on strikes. That's 6 strikeouts for Yoshii. Now they're going to walk Posada, the switch hitter, swinging left-handed, with the right-handed batting Chad Curtis on deck.
Well, it's only the 4th inning. I'm just a little surprised that they're doing this in the 4th inning in a 0-0 ball game, and it seems like Yoshii is throwing the ball pretty well. And you say, well, why not? Well, why not is because you give them more chances to turn the lineup around. The more hitters you put on base, the more times you're going to have to go through the top of that order.
That puts 2 men on, and now let's go to Bill Pito for an update.
All right, John, we check in once again on the Pirates and Dodgers. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning for Gary Sheffield. We showed you his 2-run home run in the first. Here, up the middle, base hit. Raul Mondesi comes in to score. So it's 3-1 Dodgers. Sheffield has all 3 RBIs. 3-1 now, heading to the top of the 5th.
All right, Bill, thanks. That's the only other game going on right now in baseball, and that's an actual National League game, the only National League game on the schedule. Otherwise, a day of interleague play in baseball. Here is Curtis now to try and spoil Bobby Valentine's strategy. Curtis struck out his first time. No score. And that's ball 1. That might have been the Shuto. There's O'Neill at second. Reached on an error. And there's Posada, walked intentionally at first. The Valentine's strategy came into question here Friday night when his starter Al Leiter got injured with Paul O'Neill at the plate late in that game. And he brought in the right-hander Mel Rojas to face O'Neill. Hard to third, and a nice pickup by Alfonso. That's the inning. Hit it hard, but into an out. Now the Mets power coming up. Piazza, Olerud, and Baerga. No score. Sunday Night Baseball from New York. John Miller and Joe Morgan here with you at Shea Stadium. No score, 4th inning. And El Duque, viene a bola, strike to Mike Piazza. Piazza, who caught the Mets, or is catching the Mets staff this year after the trade. Whoa. Good breaking ball. 0-2 the count. Of course, he caught that international staff with the Dodgers earlier. Orlando Hernandez. He struck out Piazza. Right now, probably the big moment in the ball game. They had 2 on and nobody out. The runners went, and Piazza struck out into a double play. Scott Brocious. Piazza is 0 for 2.
You actually see more and more managers hitting and running with runners at first and second, not necessarily with no one out in the first inning, but you see a lot of managers hit and run with a runner at second base now, whereas in the past you didn't see very many managers do that. They would only hit and run with a runner at first base, trying to get him over to third and into scoring position.
Well, here's the thought, Joe. That ground ball we just saw Piazza hit. Had he hit that ground ball in the first with the runners going, the third baseman breaks to cover the bag. That hole is open.
Yes. That was a breaking ball. The other one was a fastball.
And there's ball 1 to Olerud.
And I still think that the scouting report on both of these pitchers have these hitters maybe their first times up against them, looking for scouting report pitches rather than what the pitchers throw.
Derek Jeter in the low throw, but Tino was able to dig it out. And Olerud is retired.
What they will do a lot of times, you get a scouting report and says, well, he likes to throw a changeup 2-1. He likes to throw a fastball at certain pitches. And you look for that, and then he throws you something different, and you're not ready for it. But you usually have to face a pitcher once or twice before you can get any kind of feel for his rhythm.
Here's Baerga. And the curveball is low, ball 1. So in other words, if Bobby Valentine started the runners based on the scouting report, expecting the breaking ball, if El Duque had pitched according to the scouting report, it might have been great strategy, might have netted him a run, maybe even a big inning. But
I really don't think Piazza would have pulled the ball in that situation. With runners going and 2 strikes, you're really staying back through the middle a little bit, and if he would have gotten that same breaking ball, he probably would have hit it the other way. But with no one on, you're usually, a guy like Piazza, you're up there, maybe trying to get an extra base hit, trying to drive the ball.
Baerga with a big shot, Knobloch. And 3 ground ball outs. And that's 7 in a row retired by Orlando Hernandez. No score. We go to the 5th. Pitching duel going in an all New York game. Sunday night baseball. The Yankees nothing, the Mets nothing. As Scott Brocious stands in against that man, Masato Yoshii. Brocious struck out his first time. Deep into left center field. Far back is McRae. And makes the catch at the wall.
Well, that's one of the deepest parts of this ballpark, left center field. He reached out. It was a high fastball. He reached out and hit it, but he had to reach for it, and I think that's why it didn't go out.
It's only the second ball hit to the outfield by the Yankees.
Watch this pitch. See, it's away from him. He reaches out a little bit, and that's why he wasn't able to drive it out. McRae got a pretty good jump on it. McRae's a good center fielder, and once he gets there, he seems like he's having a little trouble with it because he catches it with both hands.
Strike 1 to El Duque.
I want to take a quick second and say Tony Cloninger wanted me to wish his brother Frank Cloninger well and tell him he's thinking about him every day. He's recuperating.
0-2 the count. Tony, the Yankees bullpen coach.
And a former great major league pitcher, pitched no-hitters. But Tony's just a great guy, and he's wanted me to say hello to his brother Frank, and tell him we're all thinking about him.
Tony, a pretty good hitter as well.
Real good hitter.
One Sunday afternoon at Candlestick Park, he drove in 9 runs against the Giants. That is the strikeout, and that's number 7 for Yoshii. 2 down. The rare air of Coors Field will be the site for the 1998 Service Merchandise Home Run Derby. Last year, Tito Martinez held off baseball's greatest sluggers to win. Now, how far will the ball travel this year in the Mile High City? Join Chris Berman, Joe Morgan, and Mike Piazza for the festivities next Monday. That's the 6th of July, a week from tomorrow. It'll be live from Denver at 8 Eastern. Mike Piazza. I don't think he's actually retiring to become a broadcaster, but he's at least going into semi-retirement from Home Run Derby, he says, because he never hits one. He's tired of it. Too embarrassing. 2 down, nobody on. Knobloch the hitter. Knobloch has fouled out and bounced back to the pitcher. Well, both of these pitchers, Joe, they're starting to show some signs of maybe settling in a little bit here.
Yes, they are. They're both throwing. They're getting ahead of the hitters in most cases. That allows them to control them because Yoshii has that trick pitch, which is a splitter, which seems to be devastating on these Yankee hitters so far tonight. And of course, El Duque is mixing his pitches very well.
There's not been a hit in the game, as you can see there. Yoshii, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks. Hernandez, 4 and 4. Both got out of some early trouble due to their wildness, created due to their wildness. And there's a walk to Knobloch, and he gets a lot of them.
Well, he's not hitting very well by his standards, 267 starting tonight's ball game. But his on-base percentage is very good. It's been up around 400 all the time, and that's good for a leadoff hitter. And he also has stolen 20 bases. So he's been getting on base, doing a few things for the Yankees. And I expect him to try to get a pitch, pick a pitch here and take off. Not the best guy to hit behind a guy to steal bases, Jeter, that is. I mean, he swings at a lot of first pitches. He's not a guy that works deep in the count a lot of times.
Jeter has struck out and popped out. Back to the bag is Knobloch. Knobloch has 20 steals for the year. No score in the 5th inning. That's the first hit of the game. Knobloch stops at second. Derek Jeter, the line shot into right field. And Paul O'Neill is coming up.
Well, Jeter doesn't waste much time. As I said, he's not going to take a lot of pitches. If you throw him a strike, he's going to swing at it. And this is the first hit of the ball game. His fastball in, he inside outs it to right field for a base hit. And we'll see if Paul O'Neill continues to make adjustments against pitchers as he has in the past. He is 0 for 2, and this guy can really hit.
Mike Piazza goes out to the mound now to talk to Yoshii. Piazza has a handful of Japanese phrases that he can use, although he says sometimes just the tone of his voice gets the idea across. Of course, he was Nomo's catcher throughout Nomo's career with the Dodgers until Piazza himself was traded to New York. Paul O'Neill has been particularly effective in spots like this. He got the big home run here Friday night. Ball 1. 2 on and 2 out. Knobloch, who drew a walk at second base. Jeter, who got the first hit of the game. He's at first base. Both of them run well.
This is the kind of situation where Paul O'Neill usually is more patient. He makes sure that he gets a pitch to hit. You do not see him go out of the strike zone very often, as we saw him the first couple of times with no one in scoring position.
High in the air along the left field line. Yoshii in foul territory. 2 left. The Yanks have left 6. Wojcicki coming up. No score. 6 months after departing his native Cuba in a 17-foot boat with 6 other people, pitching in the big stage for a national audience. And there's a call strike, as well as an international audience, ESPN, being around the world, including, as he understands it, to his native Cuba. Fastball in the hands.
Well, we're told that they also get another cable channel over there. In the last game he pitched against the Atlanta Braves, he did not pitch well, so he wanted to come back tonight and pitch very well in front of his countrymen again. So it seems like he's started to get his rhythm a little better now.
He was telling a couple of New York reporters that it's his understanding that Fidel Castro watches Sunday Night Baseball almost every week. Swing and a miss by Husky for strike 3. That's his 5th strikeout. And with that in mind, he was particularly looking forward to this one because he would really love to picture in his own mind Fidel Castro, as El Duque described it, pulling out his beard strand by strand as El Duque pitches a strong game against the New York Mets. swinging by Brian McRae. Whether or not he's watching, we don't know. But because of the possibility that he might defect, he had his passion, his profession taken from him. Oh, and 2 the count. And then he risked death to get to this country. And many attempt to leave Cuba that way, and not all of them make it. There's no guarantees. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They'll do 5 Ks. That's deep down the right field line, hooking into the corner. Foul. McRae has hit 9 home runs. 8 of them as a left-handed hitter. So he's got some pretty good sock from this side of the plate. Two balls, 2 strikes to count. 1 out, nobody out in the 5th inning of a scoreless game. That hit him. Looked to me like his elbow was right out over the plate, Joe.
Well, it didn't appear that he made a move to get out of the way.
If that hadn't hit him, it might have been called a strike.
Well, it was close to being a strike.
I believe I can't remember which umpire it was. There was a game earlier this year. I think it was in Toronto. And a Blue Jay hitter got hit by a knuckleball from Dennis Springer of Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves. And the man started to run toward first, and the plate umpire called him back. So you didn't try to get out of the way. Now, how often have you ever seen that called, Joe, that rule?
Yeah, very rarely.
Henry Wendelstedt called it in a very famous incident in 1968 when the late Don Drysdale had his consecutive inning streak going. Ordonez into left. And Strawberry out number 2. Ordonez is 0 for 2 against his fellow countryman. His fellow Cuban exile, Orlando Hernandez. 2 down, and now Masato Yoshii will come up. He struck out his first time. No score in the 5th inning. Don Drysdale with the bases loaded against the Giants in '68 hit Dick Dietz with a pitch, and Harry Wendelstedt said Dick Dietz did not try to get out of the way of it, and Drysdale ended up getting out of that inning. The run would have scored on the hit batsman. And of course, he went on to establish the consecutive inning scoreless streak, which Oral Hershiser himself ended up breaking with Don Drysdale in attendance. 0-2 the count to Yoshii. The Mets used to have a guy who made getting hit an art form here in this ballpark. One of their first All-Stars, I believe their first All-Star who played in this ballpark, Ron Hunt. Fouled back. 0-2 the count. I mean, it was not unusual for Ron Hunt to get hit 40 times in a year or more. Part of his game. And he was impossible to hit, I believe. Could not hit Joe Morton. And that is strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Orlando Hernandez. Darryl Strawberry will be coming up. No score. It's brought to you by Infinity. Own one and you'll understand. Yanks nothing, Mets nothing from Shea Stadium. And these beautiful overhead photos of the action tonight are being brought to you by the Sanyo blimp, making its live Major League Baseball debut this evening. One of the largest blimps in the world It holds over 150,000 cubic feet of helium. Well, they're getting their rally caps on here. Some have a different idea of a rally cap than others. Here's Darryl Strawberry against Yoshii. Ball one. Strawberry has flied out to shallow left center and struck out. Three infielders move to the right side of second base for the Mets. Pretty tough pitch to hit.
I think that off-speed pitch is the reason they're to the right side, not so much because Darrell's a pull hitter, because he hits a lot of balls straight away and left center. If you throw him a lot of changeup, then they figure he's going to pull the ball, and that's two that's in this at bat, and he was out in front of both.
Ball dropping and moving away from Strawberry. Tino Martinez on deck. 1-2 the count. Fastball, but out of the strike zone. 2-2. Strawberry's hit 10 home runs this year and only 153 at bats. Right to the second baseman Baerga. Got time to recover, and there is one away.
A lot of people are starting to compare the Yankee team to some of the great teams of the past. They're asking how good are the Yankees, and a writer today asked me if this was the best team ever, meaning the 1998 Yankees. So they are getting a lot of publicity, but the one thing that impresses me about the Yankees is they are a team. They play together as a team. They work together, and I mean, some of these guys just have a great attitude about winning.
Tino Martinez, and it's strike one.
And you take all of these players and they sacrifice a little bit of their own individual skills to make the team better. I mean, a guy like Strawberry probably could be playing every day and maybe should be, but he tells Joe Torre, hey, I'm ready whenever you put me in there, and I will not complain when you do not. And a lot of the other players are doing the same thing they are trying to do. Tim Raines, for instance, they're trying to do what's best for this ball club. They feel they have a chance of being on a special team, and that keeps them going.
They lost Derek Jeter on the Sable list, and they kept on winning. They've been without Bernie Williams, their star center fielder, for a good long while, and have continued to win. I mean, they lost their closer, Mariano Rivera. And although at the outset they had a couple of games where he could have made a difference, but they survived that too. 1-2 the count. Field line and foul.
Well, I remember before the season started, George Steinbrenner, the owners, thought he had such a good team. He says, has anyone ever gone 162-0? And I talked to Joe Torre about that, and Joe says, you thought he was kidding, didn't you?
Yeah.
He said, no, he was not kidding. And there you see the numbers without Martinez, Jeter, and Williams. They've continued to win without those players. You wouldn't want to do that for an entire season or a long period of time, but so far they've been able to cover those losses up.
1-2. Struck him out. Coming back with the high fastball after throwing the splitter. 2 down and nobody on. Here's an update now from Bill Pito.
Okay, John, Mark McGwire didn't homer today. Sammy Sosa didn't homer today, but Ken Griffey Jr. did homer today. His 32nd of the year, and Seattle's 3-2 loss to Arizona, so he's tied with Sosa, 4 behind McGwire.
And we'll see the Seattle Mariners next Sunday from the ballpark in Arlington. In fact, Griffey chasing Marison Ruth, and Juan Gonzalez chasing Hack Wilson. Gonzalez with 96 RBIs. Although the Rangers, unlike the Mariners, are in the pennant race in the American League West. 2.5 back of Anaheim. And this is just what you're talking about, Joe. Griffey's having another great year. Alex Rodriguez having an astounding year. They're hitting lots of home runs, and they're not winning. 34-48 is the Mariners' record. Posada 0-2 the count. I mean, the Yankees don't have anybody up near the home run leaders.
One of the things Joe Torre said before, he said, you know, when they won in '96, just look back, they really didn't have anybody in the top 3 as far as the MVP voting in the league. You know, Tino Martinez was the closest.
2 strikes with 2 down. And he laid off that high fastball. Now they've had had a problem laying off that pitch as a team tonight.
Well, part of the reason is I believe they're looking for off-speed pitches, and when he releases the high fastball, you see it better, so you're willing to swing at it because you see that pitch so much better because it's eye level.
He has 8 strikeouts. And with the fastball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, this year, right now, you'd be hard-pressed to say the Yankees have a guy who would be in the top 3 in the MVP. I mean, early on, I think we could have said Derek Jeter before he got hurt, and we might say it again when he gets rolling again. But there's nobody who, on the statistics sheet, jumps out at you. They struck him out in the dirt, and the throw out by Piazza. Masato Yoshii, who has been struggling, has established a career high with his 9 strikeouts. Now, El Duque heads out to the mound to face the top of the order. Alfonso, Gilkey, and Piazza. Yankees nothing, Mets nothing. Sunday night baseball from New York. The Yankees going for the sweep of this Subway Series. The Mets trying to salvage a game out of it. And Orlando Hernandez on Sunday night baseball. We certainly have been anxious to see him. He came up and he was only supposed to start 1 game out of the minor leagues. But he was so impressive when he came up that he's still here. He's gotten through some early trouble in this ball game. See, he had great success in Columbus after he got there. Actually even started lower than that in the minors. And he just had nothing but success through the year after surviving his trip in the small boat for freedom. And there's the curve low to Edgardo Alfonso, who has walked and flied out to right. The leadoff man for the Mets. Bernard Gilkey, Mike Piazza will follow. Slow curveball dropping in there for a strike. That's the one you like.
Yeah, the overhand curveball, I think it fools you with the speed and also with the break.
Dropped down to the side with a fastball. 1 and 2.
One of the things that happens when a pitcher throws from different angles, you're usually looking for the ball out of one spot, and if you don't see it out of there as quickly as you like, a lot of times you will either bail out when he drops down, or you'll be frozen a little bit when he comes over the top from a different angle.
And he dropped down there with the breaking ball. Alfonso took it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Hitters are basically trained to look for the ball out of a certain area, and when that area changes, that's when they have the problems, and that's why a guy that throws from different angles has an advantage.
Alfonso laying off that high one. 3 and 2 now. Hernandez has 6 strikeouts and those 4 early walks in the first 2 innings. He has also hit a batter. The Mets do not have a hit against him, however. The Yankees have only 1 hit against Yoshii. No score, last of the 6th. Down the right field line. That is foul. Still 3 and 2. To the count. High foul is back out of play again.
So he's throwing 2 fastballs from the side. Now if he throws this one from a different angle, it'll be tough for Alfonso to pick it up.
And he threw that slider, and Alfonso just did get a piece of it. Stottlemyre, longtime pitching coach for the Mets, and was in fact when they won the World Series in '86, the pitching coach here, and of course the Yankees pitching coach now. Fastball from the side, shallow right, Paul O'Neill. Number 1. Quite a battle Alfonso gave Hernandez. And El Duque is calling the catcher on the chalk. Mets' best shot in the first inning. He walked Alfonso to start it off, then walked Yoshii. Then they hit and run with Piazza. He struck out into a double play. And then El Duque took care of it himself after yet another walk, getting Baerga unassisted. And the Mets really have not had a scoring opportunity since then.
Well, this would be his 90th pitch of the ball game, which is, you know, quite a few pitches were in the 6th inning. But he struggled early, as you mentioned, and he's pitched pretty well after that.
Bernard Yoshii, 1 ball and no strikes to count. Yoshii has walked and struck out. Breaking ball misses, 2-0. I mean, that his leg kicks up so high. I mean, it looks like he's going to hit himself in the knee or hit himself in the chin with his knee. Pop fly, shallow right center by Baerga, or rather Knobloch out, but it is Chad Curtis, the center fielder. I had the wrong New York second baseman going out on that one. 2 down. Yoshii is gone.
Well, what happens when you have such a high leg kick is that it helps you hide the ball. It keeps the ball hidden, see, so long from the hitter, and then it kind of jumps at you, and that's what he tries to accomplish with that. See, you just can't pick the ball up until it comes out of his hand.
I mean, Maricho's leg kick, he went high in the air, but he kind of arched his back.
And you could also see the ball back there.
Two down, nobody on. Here is Piazza. There, misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Todd Hundley played tonight in St. Petersburg, Florida for Port St. Lucie. He's out on rehab assignment. He went 0 for 3 with 3 walks. Played right field. As a right fielder, he caught 2 fly balls and committed 1 error.
Well, they're talking about him playing the outfield when he comes back because Piazza's going to catch. That's the only place he feels that he can help the ball club.
2-0 to Piazza. He's 0 for 2. There's a strike on the outside.
That's the impressive thing, is when he's fallen behind these hitters, he's been able to make a quality pitch. 2-0 if you're a Piazza, you're looking for something you can drive, and he pinpoints the outside corner with a fastball.
Got that sidearm breaking ball. 2-2 the count. That one hit off the catcher, Posada, and he's trying to shake off the pain.
Take a look at this pitch. It's a sidearm breaking ball. You see Piazza's already broken down right there. The ball just gets a piece of him. Gets a piece of it and bounces up and hits Posada.
Looked like it knocked the wind out of it. 2-2 the count, but he's back behind the plate now. He's okay. John Olerud on deck. He would be next. No score in the 6th inning. He struck him out on a ball back to the screen, and Piazza's going to reach base. Only the 2nd time tonight that a Mets batter has tried to check his swing in that breaking ball down to the way and not succeeded, but in this case it works out well for Piazza.
This is a little harder breaking ball than the other one, and that's why Piazza couldn't check. This one is harder than the other breaking ball. See, he has to commit a little quickly. Commits too quickly and the ball gets away, and no chance for Posada to get him at first base. Good job there by Frank Pulley of calling it right away, not waiting to get some help. You know, he says it's strike 3. You can either run if you want or just stand here, but it's strike 3.
Yeah, the batter deserves to know, has to know. John Olerud. Ball 1. Olerud has walked and he has grounded out to short. No score. Last of the 6th inning. The Mets have not been able to get a runner past first base since the 1st inning against El Duque. Piazza the runner. On the outside corner. Strike one. Piazza has not so much as attempted a stolen base this year. Neither for the Dodgers nor for the Marlins nor for the Mets. Piazza got an apartment in Manhattan. So he's going to come to New York. You got to be in Manhattan. And that's up and away with the breaking ball. Didn't break much. 2 balls and a strike.
I think that was a changeup. That may have been the first. You know, we haven't seen very many changeup. That may have been the changeup.
2-1 to Olerud. Is on deck.
If you're facing someone like Hernandez, you have to be patient in the batter's box. You have to make him throw strikes. So far this at bat, Olerud has done that. Now he's got him into a 3-1 situation. But so far he's been able to make good pitches. He's been able to hit the outside corner with a fastball every time he's gotten behind the hitter. Moves out there again.
It was a fastball, but there's some pretty good movement on it. 3-2 the count. David Wells, a 10-game winner, who also threw a perfect game this year. And he had a chance to visit with Don Larson, who was at the game tonight.
Actually, they were signing baseballs together.
Did you get one?
I told him to save me one.
2 down, 3-2. There goes Piazza. And Olerud slices it foul off to the left into the crowd. Still 3-2. Piazza will have to go back to first base. Panoramic view from the blimp of Shea Stadium. 53,000 plus. Time is taken. No score left in the 6th. A game which has featured only one base hit. Derek Jeter's 5th inning 2-out single for the Yankees. Piazza will reach base here even though he struck out. He's going. And Olerud again fights it off.
That's another changeup. He has thrown more changeups this inning than he has the entire ball game. Take a look at his changeup. Now you can see him grip it with all his fingers, and you can see the release without the snap of the wrist.
Well, Duque has now thrown 104 pitches, 24 in this inning. Piazza takes off. And the inning goes on. So now the question is starting to become, how much longer is he going to be able to stay in this game at 105 pitches now. Tomorrow is an off day for the Yankees. In fact, tomorrow's an off day for all of Major League Baseball.
First time in like 23 years, John. Yeah. 1976.
Runner goes. Right field, O'Neill coming on. It falls, a base hit. First base umpire Bruce Dreckman went out to get the call, and it was short hop by O'Neill. Pointed it back by John Olerud.
Well, he gets a fastball and he jams him, but he hits a line drive to right field. O'Neill came quickly, but he just couldn't quite get there. And he makes a good play to keep the ball in front of him.
I mean, if it's a no-hitter, even in a tie ball game, I mean, do you have to go after it?
Well, you know, it's interesting. You might dive for that, but with 2 outs and a tie ball game, ball gets by you there, the runner at first base would have scored because he's running with the pitch.
Baerga down the right field line, but foul. I think El Duque is getting tired. I mean, Joe Torre didn't ask me about it. I've never seen him before.
Well, John, it's hard for me to tell because he's really not a power pitcher. I mean, he's really kind of a finesse pitcher anyway. Well, Joe is concerned, though. You see him talking to Mel Stottlemyre.
The Mets with a man in scoring position for the first time since the first inning. Baerga 0 for 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. That sinker missing. There's Piazza. Remember, he reached even though he struck out on what would have been the 3rd out of the inning. But it was a wild pitch. Then Olerud ripped the single to right field. 2 men on, 2 men out in the 6th inning in a scoreless game. Baerga trying to deliver. High in the air, but foul off the left field line. Derek Jeter racing over. Also Brocious, the 3rd baseman. Strawberry, the left fielder. But just back out of play.
Well, Baerga, as I mentioned before, is a pretty good off-speed hitter. So he's throwing him a couple of fastballs. He was late on that one. And we'll see how he thinks he can get him out.
One ball, 2 strikes. 2 down and 2 on. Still looking in at Posada.
He says, I mean, Posada gave him about 10 signs there.
Well, Posada checking out where Baerga's standing. Now he tries it again. And El Duque nods his head. 1 and 2.
It's another changeup. He has, like I said, used the changeup a lot this inning.
Well, a high-stress inning for Hernandez. Over 30 pitches thrown in this inning. And well over 100 pitches for the game now. Piazza at second, Olerud at first, ready to go on anything with 2 down. And again, El Duque and Posada are not of one mind as to what pitch to throw here. This is the kind of a spot in which the Mets have not been able to get that big hit this weekend. 2 and 2. Up the middle, and Baerga has delivered. Here comes Piazza. Curtis throw cut off but dropped by Tino. And Olerud takes 3rd, and Carlos Baerga has knocked in the first run of the game.
Baerga has been swinging the bat very well lately. Gets a fastball, he hits it back through the middle. Now watch John Olerud. He runs right in front. Curtis should have taken him. They had no chance to get the runner who's running with 2 outs and a ground ball to center field. They could have gotten Olerud easily at 3rd base and been out of the inning.
So a Yankee mistake. And now Husky to try and make him pay for it. Well, he was trying to make him pay for it with 3 runs right there.
All right, now watch Olerud. He's the back runner there. Now watch, he just turns second, and Curtis has the ball right there. Martinez tried to cut it off because they had no play at the plate, but he dropped the ball.
I mean, Olerud was so far from 3rd.
Yeah.
Had Tino not dropped the ball, I think he would have thrown him out.
Well, that's what he was trying to do, but
I mean, Curtis could have had him by 30 feet at 3rd base.
But Olerud calls himself, he was going to force them to take him and allow to go ahead and run to score. He was trying to force them to cut the ball.
2 strikes to Husky. And the curveball is outside. 1 and 2. Husky has popped to first and struck out. 7 strikeouts for Orlando Hernandez. However, the 7th strikeout didn't turn into an out. Piazza with 2 down and nobody on. Reach base striking out on a wild pitch, and now that has turned into a run. 2-2 to Husky. Olerud then singled after a lengthy at bat for the first hit, and Baerga also, after making Hernandez throw a lot of pitches, singled home the run. Now Husky trying to deliver more. Just a bit low.
Hernandez is starting to walk off the mound. He thought that was strike 3.
He'd like to get off the mound. He's thrown 35 pitches in this inning. Three and 2. Tino Martinez stays in the bag at first with Carlos Baerga. Since that wild pitch on the strikeout of Piazza, Orlando Hernandez has thrown 19 pitches. There goes Baerga. And the fastball foul back. In other words, since he struck out Piazza with 2 down, he's thrown 20 more pitches in this inning. He had a real tough first inning, and then really got it going until this inning. Now at 117 pitches for the game. Baerga runs. He struck him out. His 8th strikeout. And the Mets get just the 1. We go to the 7th. Chad Curtis coming up. 1-0 Mets. Now we head into the late innings from Shea Stadium, New York. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Your Sunday Night Telecast. It's 1-0 Mets. Final game of the Subway Series. And a fastball swung on a miss by Chad Curtis, facing Masato Yoshii, who has a career best 9 strikeouts in his Major League Baseball career.
He struck out 3 of the last 4 Yankee hitters.
Curtis is struck out and grounded out. And the split 0-2. Bullpen activity for the first time on either side. The Yankees have gotten somebody up with Hernandez due up 3rd in this inning. There's Ramiro Mendoza. Got the win here Friday night in relief. Warming up alongside Tony Cloninger. 1-0 Mets. 2 strikes to count. Just off the outside. Well, the Mets have to be heartened by the performance of Yoshii tonight. He had really struggled lately. And El Duque, although he's thrown a lot of pitches, also has come back very strongly after getting knocked around by Atlanta earlier this week. Big chop, slowly hit. Baerga's going to have to hurry just in time. 1 away. Now let's get an update from Bill Pito.
All right, John, a big-time situation between the Pirates and Dodgers. 6th inning. Gary Sheffield on 3rd is going to break for the plate. He'll be tagged out by Jason Kendall. Sheffield didn't like the way the tag was applied. The two jawed at one another, and then they fought one another. A fracas. Sheffield, Kendall both thrown out. It's now 4-3 in the top of the 8th. LA up by 1.
Little bad blood there. Scott Brocious. And that's, of course, in Dodger Stadium. Gary Sheffield of the Dodgers involved in that brawl. As we sit here in New York, watching Mike Piazza call pitches from Masato Yoshii. The year of their discontent in Los Angeles. That one is hit deep by Brocious to left field. And this ball game is all tied up. Home run. Scott Brocious. And all around Shea, people are standing and applauding. There are many, many Yankee fans, as we now can see for sure here in the home of the Mets.
Well, he got a high fastball. inside. He just missed hitting the ball out earlier in the ball game on a pitch away. This one was in, middle of the plate in, and he was able to drive it out for the tying home run.
Now here is Orlando Hernandez. Left this hit for himself here. Had a pretty good rip at that one. That is the 8th homer and the 50th RBI for Scott Brocious. Last year with Oakland, in just a terrible year for him, he had only 41 RBIs the whole year. Ryan foul off to the right.
It's a fastball from Yoshii. Is middle of the plate in and up. And as soon as Brocious hit it, Yoshii knew it was gone, and so did Brocious. It's only 358 at the point he hit it.
But way back beyond the 358 marker. Well, the Yankees, as we mentioned, they don't have a Griffey hitting 32 homers or a McGuire with 35. But they've got some punch up and down that lineup. They have some punch that comes off the bench.
Well, it's a sign of a good ball club. Like Joe Torre says, they're not a home run hitting team, but they do hit home runs. And they seem to get them when it counts.
0-2 the count to Hernandez. That is the 13th home run allowed this year by Yoshii. And all of them have been bases empty home runs. Just as with this one. 1 and 2. I don't know what is in the air. Looks like the ticker tape parade they had for the Yankees after they won the World Series back in '96. Struck him out. Number 10 for Yoshii.
Second baseman Chuck Knobloch.
Take a look at this fastball again, and you see he gets all of this one, and he knows right away that it's gone. And you can see Ray Ordonez kind of hit his hand in his glove, as everyone in the ballpark knew that it was a tie ball game whenever this one landed. And there you see the Yankees. They came out and all greeted Paul O'Neill the other night when he hit the 3-run homer, and they're all excited again.
Yeah, the Yankees not only hope for that kind of stuff to happen, they expect it to happen. Knobloch pops it up and back out of play. Still hitting the pop-up, Joe.
Yeah, that's been his problem, getting the ball in the air too much. You know, he's a line drive ground ball hitter, and he's been hitting too many fly balls. He had 2 hits on Friday, but he went 0 for 4 yesterday, and he said he's tired of stinking up the place. He actually made an error yesterday also.
And strike to Knobloch. 2 down. A run is in. Fastball. Deep down the right field line. Twisting back and out of play. Foul. 2 strikes to Knobloch. Yanks won, Mets won. First half of the 7th inning. Knobloch not having the big year. Jeter's been on the disabled list. Bernie Williams was off to a slow start. They kept winning. Then he got red hot, and they lost him. And they kept winning.
And remember, they've been without Chili Davis
the whole year.
Yeah, and he's a proven 100 RBI man.
Tino Martinez has only 11 homers. I mean, he was closing in on 30 about this time last year. And yet, the overall has just been overpowering. One hop to third. Alfonso throws out Knobloch. But Scott Brocious, the 8th place hitter, launches one to tie this game. 1-1 from Shea in the middle of the 7th. It's the all-New York Subway Series, but the international pitching matchup, and Yoshii from Japan is victimized by the home run by Brocious, and now Hernandez from Cuba in a 1-1 tie on the mound again. The question now is, how much does he have left? The most pitches he's thrown for the Yankees was in a complete win at Montreal. He threw 125 in that one, and he's closing in on that right now. He's at 120 at the moment. Brian McRae has walked and has been hit by a pitch. It's a foul out of play. The Mets have bullpen activity. Yoshii is due up third in this inning, and Dennis Cook, the veteran left-hander, has started to warm up. Alongside Randy Neiman, the bullpen coach. So perhaps Yoshii has thrown his final pitch. He's thrown a lot of good ones tonight. He has 10 strikeouts. Just missing inside. That's very similar to the pitch that hit him back in the 5th inning. 3-1. And he leads off with a walk. 5th walk allowed by
Shortstop Ray Ordonez.
Edel Duque. Ray Ordonez coming up now. He has retired twice. Is the ESPN.com in-game box, and you see the Mets with only 2 hits, Olerud and Baerga, but they came consecutively in the 6th inning. Nobody else has had a hit, although McRae has reached base 3 straight times now with 2 walks and being hit by a pitch. Each team has 2 hits.
With your 8th place hitter up, you might want to sacrifice and try to get ahead in this ball game. We're in the 7th inning. This is probably a situation where you would go ahead and bunt someone like Ordonez, but Bobby Valentine lots of times will do it differently.
He has brought his ace pinch hitter out on deck, Matt Franco, a left-handed hitter. Here's the bunt. Hard to Tino Martinez. He'll take the unassisted putout with McRae moving to second base. Now Franco.
Pinch hitting for Masato Yoshii, number 15, Matt Franco.
Franco, who was really one of the best pinch hitters in baseball last year, but that is a difficult job to put together year after year. This year he's only 2 for 18.
You're right. Pinch hitting, things go in cycles. You get a lot of confidence and you just walk up there and get a base hit. You start to struggle and it's so long in between at bats that you lose your confidence. That's why it's such a tough job to do on a yearly basis.
He had 19 pinch hits last year with 3 pinch hit home runs. Hit .306 as a pinch hitter. Backdoored him with the breaking ball, missed with it. 1 ball to no strikes. Alfonso is on deck, the leadoff man. So Yoshii is finished. 7 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, and 10 strikeouts. His best as a major leaguer. 2-0. And surely Mets had to be a little bit concerned about him with the slump that he'd gone in, which ironically seemed to pretty much coincide with the arrival of Hideo Nomo, his close friend from the Dodgers. 2-0 the count. Fastball a strike. The Yankee bullpen is up again. Del Duque works his way toward 130 pitches thrown in this game. Ramiro Mendoza is up again, the right-hander in the Yankee bullpen. Paid crowd tonight. The highest attendance of the 3 sellouts here for the weekend. 160,740 for the 3 games, which is a 3-game record here at Shea. Strike on the outside, and Franco thought he was going to take a walk.
Well, I can see where Franco might have felt that he deserved a walk there.
3-2. That was the 130th pitch thrown by Hernandez. McRae, the possible go-ahead run in scoring position. Good second. 1 out.
Changeup.
Popped him up. Derek Jeter. Out number 2.
Well, he's used his changeup a lot more here in the late innings. which is good. I mean, you throw a lot of breaking balls and fastballs early in the ball game, and you have something else you can go to. When they've seen those two pitches a couple of times, you come back and start to use your changeup.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated, no, without express written consent. Well, we didn't see the office of the Commissioner of Baseball out here tonight, but we did see National League President Leonard Coleman and American League President Dr. Gene Budick both out here.
Yeah, but you asked Gene Budick, was he kind of gloating with Lynn Coleman? You said no, because today the National League won 9 out of 13 ball games.
Thus far, the American League has won 92 of the interleague games, and the American League, or rather the National League, has won 89. The American League has won 92. There's the mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani. His son sitting next to him, a Yankee fan, as is the mayor. 2 down. Alfonso swings and doesn't get it. 1-1. Still throwing that breaking ball. Alfonso has walked, flied to right, and flied to shallow right. 1-1 in the last of the 7th inning. The Braves won today in the National League East. The Mets 7.5 behind the Braves at the start of the day. That is a strike on the inside with a fastball. 0-2 the count. The Giants won today, the team that leads the wild card race in the National League. So the Mets were 2 back of the Giants in that race at the start of the day. And they are trailing the Yankees 2-0 for bragging rights here in New York in the Subway Series. Back to the bag at second is McRae on the blunt. He had some pretty good steam on that last fastball after all of these pitches. Our radar gun got him at 91 miles an hour.
Well, he works very hard between starts. I mean, he's a very strong and athletic individual. So we don't know how many pitches he can throw before he reaches his limit.
Popped up foul and out of play.
He's still running over the play there from the pitcher's mound and ran all the way to the Mets dugout. So he still feels like he can go.
Well, they said in Atlanta he was out. It was over 100 degrees, and he was out doing his running. And then he went in and changed his shirt and started doing weight room work.
Now watch this. If you're tired, you're not going to chase this ball down. Look at this. Well, he gets there a little quicker than Masato does.
Although after doing that little bit of jogging, Joe, he then tied his shoelace.
No, they were loose already.
Oh. Just a coincidence.
Yeah, just a coincidence.
0-2. Well, they say for a pitcher, I mean, the thing that gets fatigued are the legs.
Right.
His don't look too fatigued right now from what we saw there. McRae at second, 2 down. 2 strikes the count. Alfonso stands in. He got it. Strikeout number 9 for El Duque. 8th inning. Jeter, O'Neill, and Strawberry coming up against the Mets bullpen. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Rude Central Air Conditioning Systems. Remember, it's Rude reliable. And by Master Lock. Master Locks are tough under fire. Yanks won, Mets won as we head to the 8th inning. And Masato Yoshii is finished for the night, but what a great night it was for him. 10 strikeouts in his 7 innings as we look at the ESPN.com in-game box for the Yanks. The only hits, Derek Jeter got the first one, a clean single to right of the 5th inning, and Scott Brosius, the 8th place hitter, who homered in the 7th to tie the game. Yoshii was awfully impressive, threw 100 pitches, left for a pinch hitter. And now Dennis Cook, veteran left-hander and a key man on the world champion Florida Marlins staff a year ago.
Well, his job is to come in and usually get a left-hander group out in an inning, and after Jeter there will be Paul O'Neill and Darryl Strawberry, the listed hitters. I don't know if they'll pinch hit for Strawberry or not.
That's foul by Jeter. As Joe pointed out earlier, he's very aggressive up there. 1-1 the count. Jeter has walked only 21 times on a club that, as a group, walks an awful lot. The Yankees hitters have walked more than 100 times above the walks their opponents have gotten. That bent him back. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's interesting tonight, though, the thing that the Yankees have been well known for this year is working pitchers, making them go deep into the count. They did it with Greg Maddux earlier this week against Atlanta, and helped them get him out of there after only 6 innings, a game they won coming from behind. But it's been the Mets who've done that with Orlando Hernandez tonight.
That's one of the reasons that the Yankees wanted Chuck Knobloch so badly, is because they needed a leadoff hitter. Last year Jeter hit leadoff, but he is not really a leadoff type hitter because he does not take a lot of pitches. He's very aggressive, and they wanted him to be able to just do his thing because he's a good hitter, and they just want him to go ahead and hit.
2-1 the count to Jeter. The big power hitters are next. O'Neill. That is strike 2 on the inside. Good fastball from Cook. Strawberry due up after O'Neill, but Chorney has used him pretty much on a platoon basis this year. Strawberry with the bat and the helmet. He's in the hole. He's due up third in the inning. Didn't miss by much. 3-2.
I believe if there are 2 outs and no one on, he definitely will hit. You know, to try to take advantage of his power, but he may hit anyway.
We've got Tim Raines, the veteran switch hitter, who can swing right-handed. He's got a bat.
I think Tim keeps the bat in his hand over there on the bench.
3-2 to Jeter. Popped up, shallow right. Husky. And that is out number 1 here in the 8th inning. Paul O'Neill in a spot here Friday with the Yanks trailing. Mel Rojas hung a forkball to him with 2 men on. And a 4-3 Mets lead became a 6-4 Yankee lead.
Well, Paul has had some success against Dennis Cook. He's 6 for 25 with 3 home runs. So they faced each other quite a few times.
Cook had thrown 25 pitches in a 2-inning stint the night before, Thursday night, for the Mets. And also, it was revealed later by Bobby Valentine, and there's some back problems that get kicked up. So he was not available to go into that ball game. And so he went with Mel Rojas. And especially after O'Neill hit the home run, the talk shows and the newspapers here in New York wondered why it was Rojas. 1 strike, the count to O'Neill. That misses down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to O'Neill. Well, elsewhere here in New York, the city that never sleeps, there are fireworks going on.
Well, maybe they're celebrating a Yankees victory tonight and a Mets victory. They're going to be right in one occasion. It's New York. It's something to celebrate. Someone will win.
One ball, 1 strike to O'Neill. He is 0 for 3 in this game. Dropped down to the side, and the fastball for a strike. It is 1-2. Give him a little different look that time.
Well, I think that's what he's trying to do, give him a little different look, because as I said, he's hit 3 home runs off of Dennis Cook in his career.
Yesterday, Valentine brought in left-hander to face O'Neill, Bill Pulsifer, and O'Neill got a base hit against the lefty. 1-2. Outside, 2-2. And we were not here at the ballpark yesterday, but they say that Valentine came out of the dugout and looked up toward the press box after O'Neill got the base hit against the lefty, as if to say, well, you said I should have brought that lefty in last night. Look what happened when I did today. And Bobby Valentine got a lot of flack for that in the papers and on the talk shows afterward. Been a tough weekend for Bobby V. Back to the screen. Bobby Valentine, we'll talk about that and other things in the conversation with Bobby Valentine on SportsCenter right after the game. Rich Eisen chatted with him. Winston Cup highlights. The Angels and the Padres, the leaders in the American League West and National League West, respectively, went head-to-head in San Diego today. You know, for that matter, the leaders in the Central Divisions also went head-to-head this weekend. Houston at Cleveland. A sidearm fastball for the strikeout. 2 down. Meanwhile, from L.A., an update with Bill Pito.
All right, John. Jose Guillen here for Pittsburgh in the 8th inning will ground one to Adrian Beltre at 3rd, and watch what happens on the throw. Eric Karros can't handle it. Manny Martinez scores a go-ahead run. The run breaks a 4-4 tie. It's 5-4 Pittsburgh right now at the top of the 9th.
All right, and of course the Dodgers without their slugger Gary Sheffield, who was ejected. Here's Darryl Strawberry, as Joe Morgan predicted. 2 down and nobody on. He's batting. He's swinging, but he didn't get it. He is 3 for 9 with a home run lifetime against Cook. I mean, Darryl always used to play against everybody, and he had a lot of home runs against left-handers.
Well, Dennis Cook has been very good against left-handers the last couple of years. He seems to be able to find their weakness, whether it be a breaking ball or fastballs in certain spots. Pitched really well for the Marlins last year.
2 down, nobody on. The Mets fans in the crowd rise to the occasion. 1 and 2. He's got a lot of distractions in that delivery for a hitter, doesn't he? A lot of arms and legs in that motion.
And that one was a 3/4 pitch. Let's see if he drops down on Strawberry like he did Paul O'Neill after he got 2 strikes.
Worked pretty well on O'Neill. Strike 3 call. That's 12 strikeouts by Mets pitching. Gilkey, Piazza, and Olerud, the big hitters coming up for New York Mets. 1-1. Now the Pontiac game summary. Each team with a run and 2 hits. El Duque, 134 pitches and counting. He's still in there. Brocious, the only run for the Yanks on a homer. Masato Yoshii, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, but he's out of the game now. And a curveball to Bernard Gilkey, ball 1. Then Mike Piazza, then John Olerud. Earlier on, we told you the story about El Duque believing that Fidel Castro is watching via satellite in Cuba tonight, because it was his understanding that Castro always tried to tune in Sunday Night Baseball down there. And El Duque is a man on a mission tonight in the right center field, but playable for Paul O'Neill. And there is 1 away. So this is not just another game for Orlando Hernandez.
Well, this is how the Mets got their run. He struck out Piazza. There's a base hit to right field, and Berger finishes it with a base hit to center field. And coming in to score, the only run for the Mets is Mike Piazza. And of course, Scott Brocious tied the game with a home run for the Yankees.
So here is Piazza again. And a fastball. Piazza, 0-1 the count. He struck out into a double play in the first, one of the Mets' best opportunities to jump ahead quickly. Came with 2 walks, putting men on base, nobody out. The runners started on a 3-2 pitch. Piazza struck out into a double play. That is back out of play. He's coming after him with hard stuff here.
Well, I think it's because he found that when he was dropping down, he seemed like he was able to get the ball to Piazza quicker. Piazza didn't seem like he was picking the ball up as well from the sidearm delivery. Now I expect him to see it throw that sidearm breaking ball away because he got him to chase it last time.
There it is. Not this time. Of course, on the other hand, maybe he wished he hadn't have chased it the last time.
Right.
I mean, El Duque may wish he hadn't have chased it. John Franco up in the bullpen, just in case. The shortstop, Jeter, out number 2.
Well, I tell you one thing, Piazza is not seeing the ball well off of Hernandez, because I have not seen him bail like this, you know, against anyone. I mean, he's pulling off the pitches badly. I mean, he was gone again, and he just reached out and hit the ground ball to shortstop on that breaking ball, which was out over the plate. Watch his front hit part of his body. Look at that. He's already gone. I mean, I have not seen him swing like this the entire season, but that's what he's doing tonight against Hernandez. He is not picking the ball up well enough.
John Olerud, broken back. Chino Martinez to El Duque. 8 innings of 2-hit pitching. We're heading to the 9th inning. Chino Martinez coming up. It's 1-1. Yanks 1, Mets 1. As we go to the 9th inning from Shea Stadium, bringing you these beautiful pictures from above is the Sanyo Blimp. Sanyo Blimp arrived in New York yesterday and will be flying in the New York skies for the next few weeks before heading off to Canada in August. And we're glad to have them with us tonight. They're always welcome on Sunday Night Baseball. Tino Martinez has walked and twice struck out. Now facing Dennis Cook in the 9th inning. That was a close one. Ball 1. Jorge Posada, a switch hitter, is on deck, and the right-handed batting Chad Curtis due after him. 1-1, 9th inning. It's been a different kind of a game than the first 2 of this series. The Friday game was a tight game until the late innings when the Yankees started to break it open, but it was a game with a lot of run scoring up till then anyway. Tonight the 2 pitchers have been in charge. Hernandez from Cuba, Yoshii from Japan. Hernandez, though, unlike Yoshii, still in the game, and he had perhaps his strongest inning just now in the 8th inning, an 8-pitch inning. 2-1.
Well, the Yankees have action in their bullpen now, so I'm just wondering if they're about to decide that Hernandez has had enough for this ball game.
Ramiro Mendoza is up out there again, as is Mariano Rivera. 3-1. That is Rivera on the left side of the screen, and Mendoza on the right side. Rivera number 42. The Yanks get a run here. We'll no doubt see Rivera. Sidearm fastball. Olerud, and there is one away.
Good pitch there by Dennis Cook. That was a fastball running in on Martinez. When you drop down like that, the ball will tail in a little bit more, and Martinez couldn't do anything about it.
When the inning ended, Joe Torre talking to Orlando Hernandez.
Well, you can plainly see he didn't want to come out, but he understands, I think.
Okay. Well, it was a night of which he can be well proud. Mel Stottlemyre giving him a pat. Don Zimmer, Paul O'Neill. Jorge Posada, and it's a foul. And ironically, the only run allowed by Hernandez came with 2 down and nobody on when he struck out Mike Piazza on a wild pitch. And then both Olerud and Baerga got base hits, and those are the only hits allowed by Hernandez in 8 innings. The Mets have been hitless in their other 7 innings. And that was enough to get the Mets the run that has this game tied right now. 142 pitches.
And I agree with Joe Torre. 142 is enough on this night, because they've been tough pitches.
You'd like to see him throw a lot more pitches in the next few months. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jorge Posada. who's got some power. Posada has hit 8 home runs this year in 156 at bats. And the Yankee fans in the crowd start their chant. Good fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Yankees, of course, played here for a couple of years when Yankee Stadium was being remodeled, 1974 and 75, and they played 1 game here this year against the Angels when Yankee Stadium had some structural problems. It does sound odd to hear a Yankee chant in Shea Stadium. 2-2. Posada has walked twice and struck out once. Yanks have had only 1 man reach base since the 5th inning, but that was Scott Brocious, who homered in the 7th to tie the game. Third baseman Alfonso deep and hugging the foul line, guarding against the extra base hit. High and foul and out of play. 2-2. The crowd tonight, they try to get some chants going, some excitement going. But it's a tense crowd. A tense, tight ball game in the 9th inning before the huge crowd. The Mets trying to avoid the sweep. The Yanks trying to go for the jugular. Strike 3 called. 13 strikeouts by Mets pitching.
And 3 out of the last 4 for Dennis Cook. And Posada shaking his head. And you see the target by Piazza.
I mean, he hit the glove.
Yeah, he hit the glove. Posada thinks it's off the plate outside.
2 down. Chad Curtis now is struck out, hit into a force play, and grounded out to second. 0 for 3. Changed up, but missed with it. Curtis has some power as well. He has 7 home runs. Not a very big guy, but he can hurt you if you make a mistake. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 down, nobody on. Carlos Baerga scheduled to lead off for the Mets in the last of the 9th inning, with Husky and McCray behind him. 2-0.
Well, you can see he's trying to throw a changeup, and each time he slows his entire motion down.
And there's the final from Dodger Stadium. The Pirates came from behind and defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers 6-4. Al Martin had a home run, a couple of RBIs, the Pirates veteran. So the Dodgers' poor year continues. They had won the first 2 of that series from the Pirates after losing 3 out of 4 to the Angels this week. The Dodgers are 3 games under 500 and 13.5 out in the National League West. Wow, where was that one? That's pretty close. 3-0 the count. Scott Brocious, who homered for the Yankees' only run, his last at bat, is on deck. The Mets bullpen is busy now. Catches the outside with that one. 3-1. John Franco up in the Mets bullpen. Will be ready if needed. High in the air. Right center. McCray. Staggering a bit, but he stays there to get it. 6 in a row retired by Dennis Cook. Now the Mets try for that victory. 1-1. Baerga, Husky, McRae. The Yanks with the best record in the majors going for the sweep. The Mets trying to get out of here with a big win. Ramiro Mendoza comes on. He is the man who lost his spot in the Yankees pitching rotation to El Duque, and he was not too happy about it.
Well, he didn't lose it on performance. He lost it on numbers. They had more starters than they needed, so they sent him to the bullpen.
Joe Torre endeavored to explain that to Mendoza. Carlos Baerga the hitter, and it's ball 1. And he did say, hey, Mendoza will be pitching some big games for the Yankees this year. And he pitched a big one for him out of the bullpen Friday here, got the win. Baerga over the head of Tino Martinez. Extra bases. O'Neill up with it in the corner, and Baerga, the possible winning run, is in scoring position with nobody out.
I don't like the question of positioning after the pitch. I wanted to ask why they were playing in the pitch before. Look where Martinez is. Baerga doesn't bunt. He's not a bunter. So why are you playing in that tight? You're playing him in like he's a bunter, and he's not. And it cuts down not only on the balls that bounce over your head, but cuts down on your range anyway. But Baerga, I don't think I've ever seen him bunt.
Now Butch Husky. You don't think of him as being a bunter.
No, he's not.
And that's why. And Posada almost. Man, what a play that would have been. I don't think there was any chance of the play, but Posada never gave up on it. That might color your thinking about whether you should have this guy try to bunt again.
Well, he pops this one up, and as you mentioned, Posada gave it a great try. Just barely misses it. And Tino Martinez could not get there from first base.
Cookie Rojas, the third base coach, has flashed some signs to Husky as Posada comes back behind the plate. Only the third hit of the game for the Mets, and Baerga has 2 of them. You see, Husky has really struggled in these situations all year long. Big and strong. He's got 10 home runs. Baerga, the possible winning run. This time he gets it down, and he gets him over. So there is one away.
Great job there by Husky, because Mendoza throws hard, and a lot of times those are the toughest pitches to bunt, but he does a good job, gets it down, and now they have the winning run at third base.
So now the Yankees not only will have to bring the infield in, but the outfield as well.
Well, the question is, what do you do if you're Joe Torre? Do you walk the bases loaded, which is a strategy that some managers use? Other managers do not like to walk the bases loaded because that doesn't give their pitchers any margin for error, but we'll see.
Well, the Yankees have 2 left-handers up in their bullpen.
Yeah, they're going to walk him.
So the switch-hitting McRae will get the walk. Why not? He's already walked twice tonight and been hit once.
Well, the decision, the big decision, is not whether you walk McRae or not. The next decision will be whether you pitch to Ordonez or not.
Well, and Ordonez has already
been pulled out.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a way of Bobby Valentine trying to force him to pitch to McRae, because he no longer has Ordonez on deck, because most of the time you will not make that switch this early. But he wanted to make sure that they knew that they were not going to pitch to Ordonez, and maybe they would pitch to McRae, but they're not going to do it anyway. Well, the question is whether you go ahead and pitch to Lopez or not.
Well, this is really odd. Right in the middle of the at bat, Ricky Leday goes into left field to replace Darryl Strawberry.
Well, and Leday is basically saying, I haven't been throwing. So if he has to make a throw, I mean, what's going to happen?
And there's ball 4. And Lede is also playing very deep in center field, in the left field, and the center fielder Chad Curtis has been motioning him to move in. So now Luis Lopez, a switch hitter. There's Lede now in left field.
Pitching for Ray Ordonez, number 17, Luis Lopez.
Lede is out there trying to loosen up his arm, even though he's not able to throw right now.
So here's the other big question now. Do you walk Lopez to load the bases? They have Kirby left, who's a left-handed hitter. And they have brought Kirby out on deck. So Bobby Valentine's basically telling Joe Torre what he's going to do.
And of course, the Yankees have 2 left-handers up in their bullpen. Right now, it looks like they're going to pitch to Luis Lopez, the winning run at third base with 1 out. It's a strike.
And I think part of this is because he doesn't want to have the bases loaded and put that kind of pressure on a pitcher to have to give in if he misses with the first pitch. At least he has some margin for error here if he pitches to Lopez.
Joe Torre checking the Mets lineup card. The infield and the outfield in.
You have to be alive for a squeeze, of course, not.
It's foul off the left field line. Lede started over, but it's way back up into the crowd.
Not a likely situation with a left-handed hitter up there either. It's too easy for them to pitch out and avoid the squeeze. But they are playing the infield all the way in, which is also a little surprising to me because Baerga doesn't run that well, and you could play a couple of steps back and still have a play at the plate. But the closer you play in, of course, the less range you have. Anything hit hard, you're not going to be able to make a play on it unless it's hit right at you.
2 strikes to Lopez. And the curve smothered in the dirt by Posada.
Well, Posada did a good job there, but he called for the pitch down. He wanted to throw it out over the plate and down and try to get Lopez to swing at it. So he was already prepared to block that pitch.
And obviously Mendoza has complete confidence in Posada's ability to block that pitch. Had it gotten past him, the game would be over. That will end the game. Deep into right center. O'Neill has the catch, but it makes little difference. Baerga comes in to score as they
double play. No,
they throw to first for the double play, but the run had scored. Now we're going to have an argument. Frank.
Well, yeah, but I don't understand the double play at first base. He dropped the ball. See, it doesn't matter if it's a double play because it's not. I mean, if the run is scored, it doesn't matter.
The run scores, but before the final out, the run counts.
No, it doesn't. That's a double play. That's a fly ball. This guy was off the bag.
Well, they're going to talk it over.
Well, first of all, I don't think he was out at first base. I mean, so here's the point.
And the run counts. The game is over. The Mets have won.
I don't think he caught the ball at first base. Here comes Joe Torre. Now, if you show the play at first base, he never caught the ball.
So a bizarre ending to the final game of the Subway Series here in New York. Joe Torre has had his discussion with Frank Pulley.
Now watch the guy. I don't think they got the play at first base. Even watch this. Now Paul O'Neill makes the catch. Now he throws the ball back in. Now look at McRae. See, he was off. Now see if he catches the ball. See, he didn't catch the ball, but he calls him out.
Show up at Shea on Thursday, July 9th, when the Mets take on the Montreal Expos at 7:40.
All right, now watch Martinez go to first base. Now, how do they call him out? I don't understand this. See, he doesn't have the ball. Well, Torre knows right there. He's saying, well, he didn't catch the ball. I think Joe went out just to discuss it because he knows that they didn't make the play at first base, first of all.
So, about as bizarre a finish as you could possibly have. And the Mets able to scratch out a victory here over the Yankees. We'll see you next Sunday night from Texas. Ken Griffey Jr., the Mariners, take on Juan Gonzalez and the Rangers, 8 Eastern. John Miller, Joe Morgan, good night from New York.